We love this shit, man. Kick it.
That and ice cold water. Yum.
In Vegas, you need it.
Yeah.
In Vegas, we need it. And we are in Vegas. It's Kilpop Sessions with Gemini Syndrome.
Hello, everyone.
What's up? I got Brian and Meeks.
Yep. Meeks with a G.
With a G, Meeks.
You know, I've heard that before with a. Did you say with a T?
I said it with a K.
Oh, I've heard that one too.
Yeah.
I've heard KT when but it's.
I hear Carlita,
Yeah.
Carlosa.
I'm pretty sure.
Like, it's with a fucking T, man. Like, yeah.
Megs.
Megs.
Or that's the other.
Yeah.
Like a Megan. Megs.
Megs.
No, Megs.
Megan.
That's another Megs. And I'm like,
Megs.
Megs is like short for Megan, but whatever.
Meeks and Brian, Gemini Syndrome. You guys have a new album coming.
Indubitably.
You working on that?
Yeah, it's been done for a while. We're just putting it out now. Just dripping it out.
The first single, Suffer in Silence, is that the first single?
Yeah.
Technically, technically the first single was Primordial.
Okay.
Primordial. And
That's
then
like the street track, though. Like,
That
you
was
guys
that-
like to do that.
that was the one where we like blew the load and spent all the money on a video and then we had a very interesting rollout on this one.
We did.
We were just going with our gut.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just went with the gut.
Yeah.
The whole time, right? Even the recording, like you guys
Just-
have like a million songs going into the studio, and
We wrote the whole album in the studio, basically.
Yeah, you guys
except for
kinda-
songs.
How many songs did we go in? Not a million.
We had riffs.
Less
We had a
than
bunch
that.
of riffs.
We had a bunch of parts. Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
But normally you guys go in fully prepared, and this time, my understanding is that it was kind of on the fly a little bit.
Yeah, because the last album before that, we went in with like 20 songs and only ended up using like 3 of them because we wrote so much stuff in the studio.
That's right.
So then we like learned from that experience of like not necessarily important to over prepare and just kind of come in with some stuff that's actually usable.
I think it was a lot more creative to come in with like, okay, we have a part, or maybe cut 2 little things and make it into a song, and instead of coming with and be biased to like, let's say you or your band members wrote a song and then you're so like stuck to that idea of that song. It tends to be harder to change it. Dude. It feels like you're stabbing your own kid. Like kind of thing,
That
you're
would
like,
suck.
It would suck bad big. So it's like it's better to come with little parts, so it's easier to change.
So that became kind of the basis for this album's a little bit more experimental,
Definitely.
even if there's even some acoustic parts.
Lots
There's,
of stuff.
there's,
There's an accordion solo.
Yeah, there's some accordions.
We gent it. We go hard. We double drop C. We do lots of crazy stuff.
Yeah, there's tuning experimentation. There's definitely acoustic and keyboards, but keyboards have always been a staple in the Gemini thing. So it's not a weird thing to have a
And lots of paradiddles. Lots of paradiddles.
lot of paradiddles.
Sweeping arpeggios.
yeah.
Look at that.
Lot of
This is
sweeping.
high-tech musical talk right now.
No. He's
Some tongue twisters. Some 7 sizzling sausages sizzling on the saucepan.
But what did you learn from that? Like, did you guys come out of there going, man, I think this is the way to do it?
I feel like it was a really good experience in terms of. I mean, there were some bad experiences, but overall,
That was just because of the cops, though. That was.
Do tell. What
unrelated.
happened with the cops? We got to know now.
Well, there's a dress code at the gym, and Meigs was very liberal with his attire.
With my attire, I
Yeah.
went in with
Those little
skimpy.
towels. Those little towels don't close all the time.
Oh, Meigs was showing all the Meigs, huh?
Yeah, that.
So they called the
let's
cops
vomit.
on you? Come
Let's
on,
vomit now. No, he's just being silly. The security was there though.
Okay, so the rent-a-cops. The rent-a-cops came after Meigs and little Meigs.
Ooh, very little Meigs, especially when it's cold.
It's big Meigs.
No,
Big
thanks.
That's great. This album, from my understanding, goes back to sort of a raw and honest Gemini Syndrome, kind of a full circle back to the first album. Am I on that track with this?
I mean, we literally went into it with this album with all of the like all the baggage from the last albums of like the pressure of like, let's do this and let's do that. And we just made a conscious decision to do only what we wanted to do and not care about anything else. That was, I mean, it was pretty, maybe, I don't know, selfish, but we were just, we're like, we're just going to do what we want to do. and not care about anyone or anything. And our producer was on board, and we were like just trying to create a sound that matched everything else about us.
And what is that sound? What matches everything about you
Just
in your mind?
weird, like not like it's like if you look at how we are and the philosophies that we put in our lyrics, and sometimes you can get pushed one way or the other by, like, you know, the forces that be, like management or labels or A&R or whatever, and they want you to kind of do one thing, and you kind of feel like obliged to, oh, well, we have to have this and we have to have that. And then once we get, you know, it's the whole thing of like, oh, one for them and two for us, and one for them and two for us. And this time we were just like, all for us.
All for
Three for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Three for us, three for us, and three for us, and then
That's-
four for us,
That's what we did.
and one for you. Oh,
yeah. No, that
right.
was,
One for
that was
yeah, I think it was like more. This time it felt very closer to how, as a band, as the four of us, dynamic wise and head wise, I felt like it more like, right, like you said, there was no give and take. We just took.
yeah.
Yeah, as it should be.
Do you guys find it easier to write when things are when it's going downhill as opposed to rainbows and unicorns?
yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, it's always
When-
it always feels that like when you're under the pressure,
Yeah.
like things flow easy.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can make some good stuff when, like, you know, like we wrote, you know, Children of the Sun, like in the best of times.
Right.
When we're gonna write music and like, let's do it, buddy. Come over, pal. And then like, you know, and chug it out in the
Yeah, in
in
your
the
garage.
garage for like a million hours. Like, hey, I have this thing, and then we go back and forth,
Yeah.
and then it's like, and then it happens that way. And then there's other times where like we have to get 4 songs done in 3 hours, and then we make that happen too.
Yeah.
There's something about when things are difficult in society where angry music and metal elevate. Am I right? I mean, because it's just easier, because it's just, it's a let it out.
I think rock music, metal music has always been a catharsis of like like that aggression, you know, like to emote like in a kind of, what's the word?
Transmute. You're transmuting the negative into a positive.
Sure,
Like
that's
alcohol.
whatever he's saying.
It's very therapeutic. Well, it's very therapeutic, right?
Very
They-
therapeutic, yeah.
Yeah, because they
That's-
find
that's
that
what I
people who listen to metal music are far less apt to do things negative
Like serial kill.
or themselves, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they're more apt to be more well adjusted, and I think it's because it's. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a therapist. God knows. I don't know shit, but I know that it just feels good.
Yeah, I mean, I think as a kid, like for myself, growing up, but you know, however I was growing up, I think that community,
Yeah.
that music, it really did help. Now that I look back, I go, oh man, I think it really did help me adjust to how I am now. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I feel like it did help me to become who I am now. So,
Who'd you grow up listening to?
I'm an old guy now, so I was listening to, I'm gonna date myself. I was into, when I was really, really, really young, like
Beethoven.
It's Mozart. Everything from obviously Led Zeppelin, but that's everybody's favorite or whatever. Judas Priest, Iron Maiden. You know, when I was really young, and then I went into Metallica and you know, Motley Crue, first record, and those type of bands. And then went to Slayer, and it started going Pantera, blah blah blah.
So it was kind of like drugs, right? You started out with, Zeppelin.
Zeppelin. You're like, yeah. Everyone's like, here's some grass.
Yeah. I just stop whenever I want.
Anytime, one puff is enough for me.
Yeah.
Damn Yankees. Ah.
What about you, Brian? What did you grow up on?
I was like, my first like obsession was like Tool.
Okay.
Then I got into like, I mean, when stuff like Korn and Deftones and Rage Against the Machine and all that stuff started coming out, I felt like, oh wow, it's like my generation is making music like for ourselves now, is what it felt like. Whereas like the music that was popular before that kind of felt like that was for the other people. And then suddenly the people that were on stage like looked like us and dressed like us, and it was cool. It was cool to see people like, in baggy Adidas, with dreadlocks, like playing like psychos with low tuned guitars, and I was like, this is
So you weren't like into Judas Priest like I was. You weren't that type of metal.
I
kid?
was-
Motorhead. You know that? No.
No.
Just
But my very first love was Phil Collins in the second grade,
Oh.
and that drum solo.
In the Air Tonight. Yeah. Manson did a version of that.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty cool.
Fucking awesome.
Phil Collins is so underrated. I think when we were younger, because I mean, I listened to all the same music. When we were younger, it wasn't cool to like Phil Collins, you
Yeah.
know, like what a joke.
Yeah.
But you go back to it and you go, God, he was
Pretty awesome.
pretty good.
And then my mom raised me with like Genesis, so I was into like Genesis, and I was into Mike and the Mechanics, and I was into like,
You were into
like
Pink Floyd. weren't you?
oh, dude, Pink
Love
Pink Floyd
Pink
was
Floyd.
in high school.
Actually, I didn't grow up with Pink Floyd, but he one day go, dude, Pink Floyd. And I'll go, what? So I started went back to my house, started to go, fuck, they are pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty,
Yeah.
actually better than good.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
they don't you? I feel like they need to just get it together. David Gilmour.
I don't think that's ever going to happen.
I know, but they need billions of dollars. I'll
Yeah.
sell my house
Yeah.
to go see Dark Side of the Moon
It's all
done in
GoFundMe.
its entirety at the Sphere.
when your
Right now.
hobby is collecting jet airplanes.
Yeah,
Is that what they do?
Yeah.
yeah, they don't need it.
That's what a hobby.
What's your favorite Pink Floyd song?
I mean, it's probably a little cheesy, but comfortably numb.
That's
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
mine too.
Yeah, I mean, but that whole, I've watched that. I used to have the VHS of The Wall in high school, and I watched that thing till the tracking didn't work anymore. Like
Right.
I would watch that thing back and forth and back and forth, and that whole album. I used to say if I was stuck on a desert island and I could have one piece of media, it would be like the DVD to Pink Floyd The Wall, because it's everything. Yeah.
AC/DC? Nothing like that? You wouldn't, and you're, oh, come on.
What?
I'm a fan of "Wish You Were Here" because of "Shine On You Crazy Diamond." I think is
There you go.
the most epic piece of 20-minute song. I think it is. Like it's just
Also,
it's
David
epic.
Gilmour's, he's so good.
He's
Like
really
when
is.
he plays, you know it's him, which is really weird. Like not, to really he plays a few notes, you're like, oh, that's David
that's
Gilmour.
David Gilmour. Yeah,
David
David
Gilmour,
Gilmour, he's a
which
piece
is
of
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in high school, my dad bought me the Division Bell CD, and it's,
Oh, yeah.
it's not super one of their popular
Popular
ones,
one,
but
yeah.
dude, front to back, I've listened to that thing a million times.
Yeah, you told me about that. Right there.
And I was the inspiration. I mean, that's the inspiration of how there's all these tracks in the middle where there's just footsteps creeping in the forest and all that stuff. I tried to bring that stuff, those little cool elements of
Yeah.
hidden track, which Tool did a little bit of it, Primus did a little bit of it, hidden songs on albums and Track 69 and stuff like that.
I got the pleasure of, you guys are going to be jealous maybe, but I got to see Pink Floyd at LA Coliseum. Unfortunately, it wasn't with Roger Waters, but it was David Gilmour, and it was Momentary Lapse of Reason tour, and I was loaded on LSD. And
that's the way to
as
do it.
soon as it hit, the lights went out, and the pig came flying across, and it was real. That happened. It was just extra. But it was flying across LA Coliseum
Yeah.
to metal. That's how they opened the show. And that's my high school. So that's why I fell in love with Tool.
Yeah.
Because Tool had those elements,
Yeah. For
of
sure.
that grandiose sort of, thematic and intricate
Yeah.
metal
The
music.
show inside of the show.
Yeah, the show inside of the show. What inspires you these days?
I mean, dude, I love Sleep Token. I love 21 Pilots. I love all this new kind of low tune stuff like Throne and Alpha Wolf. And
Same here.
We just got into Breakaway. Breakaway is really cool. It's like a female fronted Sleep Token kind of vibe. Yeah, I just love because what defined the break for me between when it was She's My Cherry Pie and Poison, and then all of a sudden it was Nirvana, and then Alice in Chains and all these, and then from that was born all this genre bending stuff with Limp Bizkit and Korn and Deftones, and I think that's what Sleep Token and 21 Pilots and Panic at the Disco, these bands are really good at genre bending, and even Who's the other really good? Ice Night Kills is really good at
That's
that.
really good.
Like just taking different elements of different
And
styles.
then also the theatrics of stage.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Then the
The
theatrics
fact
just
you're like-
add to it.
you're like, whoa.
Even before I ever saw Sleep Token, before I had any idea that they were in masks, I mean, like, we all fell in love with them over COVID, and we were, like, listening to them when we
Yeah.
had, like, 20,000 monthly listeners on Spotify, and next thing they just blew up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're selling out stadiums.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their new one's really good.
Yeah.
The new one is taking them
Emergence is, like, yeah.
Yeah, it's taking them past. Like, they're becoming a household name,
Yeah.
which
Oh, 100%.
to them, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's the new Ghost is really fun and interesting, too.
I haven't heard it. I heard it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I mean, I like Ghost.
they're
so.
fun, man.
Yeah.
They're just a fun band. They do crazy fun shit. So, you guys obviously traveled to tour. Clearly, what's your favorite country? Like, what's your favorite? When you're looking at the map, you're like, oh, I hope we go there.
Antarctica. I want to play the South Pole.
You want to play where the ice falls?
I want to play on the edge. I
Of
want
the
to play
ice wall.
at a point, but yet at an entire circumference of the ice wall, whichever one.
I would say, on a serious note, Japan.
Japan?
I've never been.
Okay,
I'll go sign that. No, I want to go to
Yeah,
Japan.
yeah.
Japan
The
is,
culture, the food, everything, the people, it seems really cool.
and they like rock music
They
over
do,
there.
they sure do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're Japanese. It's a really good culture.
Yeah.
What have you learned about the music industry that surprised you when you came in? You're like, oh, I didn't realize that.
That everyone is just like honest, and it's really easy. There's nothing hard about
I was
it.
like, what?
You just sign a record deal, and they promise you all these things, and it all happens, and it's great. And you get to live on a castle on the hill, and you have money, and it's whatever. You never have to worry about anything ever again.
The one thing I did learn, yeah, good answer.
All your dreams come
All your
true.
dreams come true. I learned that like the more popular you get, the more friends you get. It's weird how that happens.
Is that right?
That's so weird to me. Like, wow, at some point I had a lot of friends, and then I don't, and I do, or whatever, and it's amazing.
All of a sudden-
amazing the human condition.
All of a sudden, you're the most popular person in your family, where before you were like the
I was
black
like,
sheep.
The black, wow, yeah, exactly.
And those celebrity net worth websites always really underestimate your worth. They just really, it's
Yeah.
just like if they only knew.
If they only have how
10
many-
times more.
But then your net worth.
Yeah.
How much are you worth now? Like 10
According to
million?
the website,
Yeah,
I'm up to 13. Yeah.
I think I'm up to 25.
Yeah, dude. And if they only knew, we had so much more.
We've done it.
Yeah, the Corolla is just it's just to keep it humble.
My key is just to make it chill.
You're a father.
Mm-hmm.
How do you balance family life and Gemini syndrome life?
I think that just comes with like trying to figure out how to grow up. I've been talking about this subject a lot for the past couple of weeks, and it's like you reach a point where there's certain things that are very attractive to you when you're in your 20s and your 30s, and you're like trying to climb the ladder. And like I was just talking to Alex Gilbert this morning about
Alex.
about touring with Spine Shank and touring with Snot, and like how like when when you're young, you're like, I will do that for free. I will do that. I will go and just experience this experience just to have fun for it. But then, like anything, it's like you at a certain point, you're like, you look back and you're like, you see all the normal people in your life having all these other kind of normal things, and you're like, oh, I don't have any of that. And you have all this other stuff, which all your normal friends think is really cool. But then you kind of then you have to what's cool is that at later, it's kind of like getting tattoos later in life, because you get to like choose something really cool. So now you get to build your life with a little bit more maturity and a little bit more experience, and kind of set yourself up a little better. That's been my experience, and a lot of I could. Meegs included, and all the guys in my band, I see that in them. Because we just went gun ho, just like, like pedal to the metal, and just we just went hard. We all lived together. There was like 13 of us in a house, and we were just like, we didn't care. We're just going for the dream, doing it in a van forever. And you do that for like 15 years. And then you find yourself like, oh, cool, we're playing some pretty cool shows, playing with some pretty cool band, we're in a pretty comfortable vehicle. And then suddenly you're like, you get to build a life around that.
Right.
So it's still, so music is still like the most fundamental part of our lives.
Yeah.
It's just now we're trying to build our lives around that.
Yeah. Growing up is weird, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's weird.
It's like as much as you don't want to grow up, you eventually like really want to grow up.
Right.
And it's like you're like, oh wow, my mom was right about that too. Ah.
I know. What is it with
Moms
that? All
always
that.
know.
Oh, mom,
Dude.
grandma, grandpa, all of them know.
Adulting is a slap in the face. It is. I know you're more adult, but I'm having a hard time with it. I want to be like him when I grow
I
up.
go to his house. I'm like, dude, like what's going on new? He's like, oh well, take your shoes off. 'Cause there's no dirty shoes on the
dirty
new
shoes.
floor.
My
That I
knee-
put here in his fancy bathroom with the mirror with the button and it lights up and like, yeah, you just renovated your bathroom, right? That's
Yeah.
pretty adulty.
It is adult.
That is adulty. Bathrooms are pretty bitchin', but yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
that was.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. You're rock and roll. No, there was hookers and blow
There
everywhere.
was-
vomit on the side of the toilet.
Did you miss that part? There was all the blood. No. No, you're right.
Yeah, the little corner of your wife's purses. It was so cute.
The what?
The corner of Faith's purses. Remember, I was like, well, why do you have all these designer purses stacked on
Just sacked it. Dude. Damn it! I was trying to be cool here.
So this is my new photosynthesis water filter. Gosh.
Gosh, idiots.
What is the-
Meek's gonna make a mean smoothie. Watch out.
I do. Damn it! I am.
You
an
make a
adult.
mean smoothie?
Yeah.
Are you a cook or are you
No, I'm a smooth. How do you call it? A smoothie.
smoothie?
Smoothie.
Smoothie air.
Smoothie. No, I make a really super healthy green.
He somehow fits like aloe leaves in it somehow.
Aloe.
Wild, dude.
It's so weird.
Chia
Everything, but
seeds.
chia seeds, every type of flax, just everything.
Yeah.
Beetroot stuff. It's just.
Party
Yeah, it's like.
The health nut?
Damn it! I remember. I remember when it was orange juice and vodka in the mornings. Now it's smoothies. I guess I am an adult. Damn it. Damn it.
What's like the craziest road story? Like, just when you arrived at a show and it just all went nuts. Or just a road story.
I mean, there was one where we were playing with Seven Dust, and we arrived at some venue somewhere in the South, I forget. And so we're playing, and then it was raining really bad, so like we're not going to load our gear now. We're going to wait till the rain subsides. But by the time Seven Dust is playing, the rain is raised like the streets are flooded. We were in an RV at the time, and the water is going above the tire line, but rushing like fast. And then next thing you know, the water starts coming inside the front doors. And next thing you know, they shut the doors. They're like, "You guys are barricaded." And we're barricaded in there all night with the fans. And it was like, and the only thing to eat was like they had these dessert pizzas at the venue. So everyone, it's like 500 people trying to survive off of 10 dessert pizzas with like M&Ms and chocolate on them, and all the bands had like the upstairs to like stay in, and then the downstairs was just like, it was like zombie land, like all these fans like sleeping like on tables like this, and just anything that, I mean, I have a picture on my phone somewhere where like I took like not packing foam, but like the foam that you have inside of road cases, like this thick, and then I gaff taped it to my feet so I could walk on the ground with like being wet. And yeah, we were stuck there till the next day at like noon. And like everything, and we had an RV, so all of our storage was at the bottom, and everything got wet. Like all of our electronics, our clothes, our suitcases, drumsticks, extra hardware, like it was just destroyed.
Oh, wow.
So.
Did you lose equipment that night?
Oh, yeah.
Or?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
You had to
Oh,
go
yeah.
buy new shit, huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, or you figure out like, I guess I could do a show without that.
Who cares about a snare, right?
yeah, I'll just, yeah. I remember that was
MacGyver style, the show
Yeah.
the next time. Yeah. Wow. So the new single, "Suffer in Silence," and is the album come? Is there a date, or do you have a name, or where
the
you
date
at?
is mystery, but the date
Okay.
shall come, shall be
Okay.
revealed.
Okay.
Do we have a name, or is that a working title? But I like the title.
The title?
The one you-
Dude, let's just come up with it right now. We're just going to invent a name right now. And we're going to call it
Origin.
The highly anticipated prequel to the Lux trilogy. How's
But
that?
there's also its origin.
Yes.
Isn't it also the origin? And then there's like a.
That was the thing I just said. The
No, not that. But the title.
Oh,
of the, it's a longer one, but we're gonna call it origin.
Oh,
But
from nothingness to everything.
yeah, it's just basically
Yeah.
that's like it's called origin, but for nothingness to everything.
Yeah, the highly anticipated prequel.
Yeah, but that's not
to the
part
Lux
of the
trilogy.
that's not part of
I'm
the
gonna
title.
put it on the.
You're gonna put it? Okay, good, cool. Sounds good to me. Whatever you want, bro.
Sometime this year.
Yeah, yes.
Sometime this year.
We're putting. There's a song that's gonna happen every month until the album's out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Gemini Syndrome fans are going to be stoked
Yeah.
about that. That's fantastic.
There's something coming out at the end of the month, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We're looking forward to it. Thank you for coming by.
Well, thank you for
I
having
really
us.
appreciate you.
Of course.
Thank you for bringing your family, too. Fun little.
I know. It's our first time hanging out on the radio.
Hi, Ziva.
Yeah.
Ziva.
Awesome. Thank you guys
Thank
so
you, Carlota.
much.